Do you ever have those days where everything feels hard? Where just yesterday you were on fire, baby. Everything you did worked out really well. You had a lot of energy, you crushed your workout, you ate healthy, you hit all of your goals for the day, you booked a gig or like whatever it is. Everything seems to go well. Maybe you even had a week like that. And then today, it just all went to poo poo. Everything you tried to do that worked yesterday is just not working today. And, you tried to get back into that energy and you believed in yourself and you did your affirmations and you visualized, your identity of, I am a successful person. I am healthy. It's all working out for me and nothing is working, right? In your physical circumstances, it's just not coming together. First off, why does that happen? And then second, how do we shift it? Okay. Well, my theory is based on my experience. This happens because life is not always going to be a straight line, my friends. It's not meant to be. Okay. Now, I've talked about this before, but we want to get to a point, ideally, where we're never in a completely calm sea, right? I don't think life would thrive. I'm not a biologist, but I don't think life would thrive in the ocean if it was a completely still water situation, right? The ocean is meant to have its ebb and flow. There are a lot of scientific things that are sciency that I don't understand about that. But even if you just have like a hydroponic plant system, if there is no oxygen in the water, if the water is completely still because the pump breaks, the plants die, right? If you don't have a working pump, then you've got to move the water around. I know this because I had a hydroponic garden that I just stopped having because the bugs are too much for me to handle. Anyways, so life is not meant to be this still sea. There are going to be waves, but we want to just get to the point where we have a stable enough ship that the waves don't feel like a complete storm every time that might capsize us, right? We want to have enough foundation that will keep us afloat. And we're going to feel like, whoa, okay, water's a little choppy today. And yesterday it was much more calm, but not like it's completely turning life upside down, right? That's the ultimate goal. But the point is, sometimes things are going to be a little bit choppier than others. Sometimes you're going to be more tired than other days. Sometimes you're working on a strategy and it seems to flow really well and the execution is on point. And other days, it just seems like the same things aren't working. And I feel like that is truly because it's not meant to be this perfect straight line every day. Why? Because then there would be absolutely no growth, no progression. Because when you don't have contrast, I've talked about this before in the Law of Rhythms video, when there is zero contrast, there is zero growth. Because when you have an absolutely perfect life and everything feels good all the time, then you would never have any more desire. Because what you don't want and what you don't like provides clarity, and the stronger that situation is, the stronger the contrast is, the stronger your desire is for something different, for the opposite. So when you feel really sick, you really want to feel well, right? To the point where sometimes you make deals with God or the universe and you're like, please. How many times have you heard someone say when they're like really drunk and they're like sick, they're like, oh God, I promise I'll never drink again. Or I promise I'll never eat this terrible food again. If you please just get rid of this stomach ache, right? Your desire strengthens when the opposite of what you want is strong, right? So you are meant to experience contrast. And I don't say that in some spiritual woo woo way. It's not about lessons or karma or punishment. I mean, if you believe that, I respect that and that's fine. But in my experience, and to me, I don't think that's so much what it is. I think it's more so, like I said, there is an ebb and flow and all of the dips provide opportunities to strengthen our desire, to strengthen our resolve, to strengthen our belief, or to fine tune what we want. Because often we really think we want a particular thing, and we're very specific about it. And then a dip, in energy, in experience, and mood can kind of make you step back and say, okay, this was working before. I really loved this job before. This relationship was going really well. And now that like things are a little bit rocky, maybe I take a step back. Is it me? Is it the situation? Like it causes you to stop and reflect. And that is necessary, right? So, first off, why do these days happen where everything feels like it's difficult? Because life gets confusing sometimes, and it's necessary for you to have a little confusion in order to gain deeper clarity, right? And I really feel like when you want to take a big step up, right? When you want to level up, right? Some people call it a quantum leap. Often you need drastic change, right? If you are really, really comfortable where you're at, but there's a part of you that's like, man, I really want to take it to another level, you're going to have to leave that comfort and step into something uncomfortable for a while in order to get up to that next level. And it's not about being unworthy or like you need to be better in order to get there. You got to build strength and character. It's more so a natural process of growth, right? Growing pains, maybe someone might call it. When kids hit that awkward stage in life, where adult teeth start coming in, or even when they're a baby, right? And the bigger teeth start coming in, they're teething and it hurts. It's painful, right? It doesn't last that long. It's not years and years of horrible pain in order to grow teeth. When you're building muscle, it's uncomfortable. You get sore, right? At certain points, when you're actually building muscle, because it's after you've been basically tearing the fibers and they start healing that the actual growth happens, right? Same thing with a wound. So I don't want to say discomfort is necessary in order for things to happen in the right direction, but I think it's very helpful to experience the opposite of something before you experience the success. How you react to that and how long it affects you mentally and emotionally is your choice. And I'm not saying that it's easy to snap out of it when things aren't going wrong, when you're experiencing pain. I'm not saying that it's shameful or there's something wrong with you if you're having a hard time getting through it, if it's taking you longer than you'd like for you to, move out of this negative experience, this struggle in life, but it is ultimately under your control how long you choose to react to it. So, what I'd say is when you are experiencing these dips, feel the feelings, feel the emotions, let yourself cry, go punch something. I say this all the time. Please don't punch somebody, punch something safely. Let the emotions move through you, acknowledge that you feel the way you feel, give yourself some grace. But then at some point, remind yourself that this is a dip, which is also an opportunity. How would we like to move forward? And shift your attention to how I'd like to move forward. And that brings us into how do you shift in the dip, right? You're experiencing that dip and you've already let yourself cry. You've let yourself feel some emotion. Now, how do you go about shifting that? And I'm not going to give you the advice that you would expect. I'm not going to tell you to go do positive affirmations for an hour and visualize and meditate. I think those things are wonderful and I do them, but I don't find them very helpful when I'm in the dip. I find expressing my emotion helpful and softening what's going on, softening the beliefs and stories about the situation, about the dip that you're in, and softening the emotion rather than trying to jump. Sometimes you can snap out of it, right? Something really intense happens that just totally shifts your day, right? And that's great when that happens. Like you're really feeling emotional about something or down about something, and then you watch someone else go through a terrible experience and it puts it into perspective, right? Someone says, I just lost my dad, and you're like, oof. And it makes you so grateful that you have your dad that it kind of snaps you out of it. Those moments happen, right? And it's beautiful when they do. But most of the time, that type of energy shift feels too far away to achieve. So I like to soften things. And I'll give you an example. Recently, I shared in my last video something I really wanted to happen and actually like needed to happen. and believed it was going to happen and expected it and felt the feeling of it's already done, right? And I took actions on all of those things to make it happen at the same time. I surrendered. I literally did everything in my process. And the thing didn't happen by the timeline I wanted it to happen in, and I expected it to happen in. And I was like, man, what the hell did I do wrong? And I was really disappointed. And I was crying for like in a week straight, maybe even more than a week. Maybe it was like almost 2 weeks. What shifted was when I stopped trying to just snap out of the emotion. I stopped trying to fix it and change it and make it different. But I also didn't wallow and surrender in the sense of like, oh, well, I guess life sucks. I'll just get over it and move on. I decided to try and soften it 1% at a time, or maybe 1% a day, you could say. So instead of saying, it's okay that I didn't see the results, I know it's happening for me, I believe, I said, I would love to see this situation differently. I would love to feel different about this. I would love to believe that it is happening for me and that it's just coming in a longer timeline than I expected. I would love to believe that this was meant to happen this way. I would love to believe that it's actually better that I didn't get it in the timeline that I wanted because perhaps I needed to learn something or strengthen something or become more prepared or ready for this thing in order to really experience it fully. Notice I keep saying I would love to, because for me, when you're trying to force yourself to believe something and you're saying these affirmations or trying to shift in your mind, it's kind of the same as going from never working out to deadlifting 300 pounds in a day. You're going to tear some muscles. Is it possible for you to do it? Yes, that sounds crazy, but when you look at stories of people who, through adrenaline alone, lifted a car off of a child, like it happens, right? This amount of adrenaline scientifically has been shown to give people incredible strength and power, right? And then after the event, they collapse, right? Because that adrenaline is gone and they're back to normal, so to speak, right? So it is absolutely possible to shift in an instant, but a lot of times it's just the hard way to do it. And taking baby steps is often a much more, I don't want to say profitable, what's the word? Not even realistic. It's just a better way for you in that situation to move forward, right? Because you're just going to frustrate yourself more if you try to fix something or change something in a drastic way when you're not ready for it. And I also want to say that not being ready for something is not negative. It's not shameful. It's not anything that you should be frustrated about. I don't want to tell you what to do or how to feel, but that's something that I've had to shift in myself recently is being okay with not being ready. It doesn't mean that you haven't been working hard enough or that you're not smart enough or that you're not getting it. You're less than because these other people are achieving things and shifting their identity and beliefs and working hard and it's happening for them. Why isn't it happening for me? It's not because there's anything wrong with you. It's just because at this time you are not ready for some reason. So just continue to get ready, right? A great example of this is when someone wins the lottery. You know the percentages of people that go broke very quickly after winning the lottery, and there are a lot of reasons behind that. But the number one thing is those people were not ready for that much money at once. It was not something that they've ever experienced, but not only that, that's actually really irrelevant because you can get things that you have never experienced and be ready for them emotionally. It's the emotional aspect, right? Yes, there is a certain amount of like having knowledge, right? Those people had zero knowledge in how to manage their money, but it's more of an energetic thing, right? Because maybe you don't know all of the numbers, but you can hire someone who's an accountant, who's a financial advisor that can tell you what to do with the money. Get a lawyer. A lot of people now hire lottery lawyers, right? That can help you make the right decisions. That's great. But the emotional part is when you get all of that money or when you get all of those things, there's an underside that you don't see because you're so excited about getting it. You want it so bad that has all of like the fine details of, well, when you get all that money up front, there's this thing called taxes, right? And if you're not used to taking accountability for the money that you receive and being honest about reporting it, or you're not used to saying no to people, and you're not good at saying no to people, then when they come to you for money, you say yes, 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 yes every time. That's part of not being ready. If you can't manage $50,000 a year, what makes you think that you're going to manage $50 million a year? Right. And it's not, again, because you're not smart enough or good enough, or there's something wrong with you or you're greedy. It's just a matter of energetically not being ready to fully accept something. And this may sound really woo woo, but I think a better example than the lottery thing is in relationships. We've all met someone who was kind and amazing and wonderful. Um, Maybe even someone you dated, or maybe you're this person. But for some reason, when they finally get the right person in their life who wants to take care of them, who sees them for the amazing person they are, and gives them all of their love, treats them like a king or a queen, this person like screws it up. And you're like, what is wrong with you, dude? You just got everything you ever wanted, right? And this person's treating you like a king or queen. How could you screw this up? Or why would you run away from it? Because they're not ready. They're not ready to receive that type of appreciation and love. It's like too much. It's overwhelming, right? This happens with famous people too. When they're not ready to accept that much attention, spotlight, adoration, people constantly being in their face, their private life being open to the world. Again, it's not because they're not strong enough, smart enough, good enough. It's just they're not ready. And that's what happens to a lot of people. They're thrust into the spotlight, something goes viral, and now they're like, whoa, like this is kind of a lot. And a lot of people run away from it, shut down, or unfortunately have mental health issues around it, do drugs, drink too much, self destruct. So it's okay to not be ready. I've realized when it comes to money, I think that's been a sticking point for me. I thought I was ready to be extremely wealthy, but a couple events have showed me that I haven't been ready. I think I'm closer than ever now, and I'm stepping towards that readiness more and more every day than ever before, especially since I acknowledge it and realize it now. The sky's the limit, but so many times when I got a lot of money up front, I think my best month to date was 15,000 in a month. And I know that number is going to jump up. It's already going to be higher this year because of things I already know that are happening. But when I've had those months, I had the opportunity to capitalize on that, save and invest a lot. Um, and I made different decisions. I didn't go blow it all on something stupid, right? It wasn't like I wasn't smart enough and was like, I'm going to buy a Gucci belt. No, I reinvested it into my business like a lot of entrepreneurs do. It was not a bad decision, but it was an ill timed decision that I made because I really wasn't ready to be able to enjoy that amount of money and accept it and say, oh, not only do I deserve this, but I am ready to be somebody who makes this regularly. It was kind of this chaotic energy of like, whoa, this is really cool, but it's also like a lot. I should probably invest this back into my business and then grow it so that I can make even more and make this a regular thing. And there was this anxious energy that I felt instead of feeling excited and grateful and like, yes, this is my best month ever. This is amazing. It felt overwhelming. Also, part of that was because I got that much money from hustling really hard and I was exhausted. So that's a different story. But I realized there was this chaotic energy. And I know this sounds really woo woo, but my point of saying all this and sharing this is that it's okay to not be ready. Now just get yourself more ready. This is an opportunity in the dip for you to get more ready for it, right? To create a stronger foundation. So If you are in the dip right now and you're having a day, a week, a month, a year where everything feels hard, give yourself some grace, cry it out, and then soften things, soften beliefs, soften mental chatter. Take baby steps, break these big ideas or dreams or strategies down a little bit more until you feel ready to jump, right? So maybe if your thought pattern or your strategy now is, I need to, let's just say, work out 5 days a week, go to the gym and do these crazy hit workouts. Okay, yes, that would absolutely transform your body in 90 days, 60 days, whatever. I did the Insanity program back in the day. You all remember P90X if you're a certain age or above. Um, I know it works. I've done it. But right now, where you are in life, you may not be ready for that. Okay. So rather than jumping right into 5 days a week, hustle, grind, let's do it. I'm just going to transform into the person who can do this. Maybe not right now. Maybe your best path forward is saying, what feels good to me right now that I know I can commit to? Maybe walking around the block 5 days in a row feels more doable right now. Maybe taking baby steps because I was just sick. I just had an industry. I just had a baby. I don't know. Or I just went through some serious grief. Or I don't believe in myself enough yet. And trying to jump into this completely new identity feels really uncomfortable and difficult. Maybe walking around the block for 15 minutes Monday through Friday might be a good start. Let's start there. And then maybe you do that for a few months and you've built up this confidence and you're proud of yourself for pretty much sticking to this thing and everything shifts and suddenly you're ready to receive this new version of yourself. You're ready to step into it because you've built that foundation in whatever way makes sense for you. And then you do jump into the crazy 5 days a week hit workouts or CrossFit or weightlifting or whatever it is. And it's amazing, right? Point is, it's okay to not be ready. It's okay. I have not had a bad day today. Today's been all right. I don't really have a lot to complain about today, but everything did feel a little bit funky. Like every time I would try to start doing something, something would be off, right? Like the computer started acting weird. This is my fifth take of this video, which usually I don't do that. Usually, first take is fine. I stumble through, I ramble sometimes. I don't know if I get back to the point, but I don't really care because I'm doing what I want to do and I'm saying what I want to say. And this is not, meant to be a super polished podcast at this point in my life. So, um, I don't feel like I'm ready for that. And when I am ready, that will come. But the point is, it took me 5 times to get this going. And I started to get really pissed off, right? I'm like, ah. And then I just stopped and said, okay, what feels good in this moment? What can I commit to? And today that was rambling a bit. Today that was just filming a video that might be full of stumbles and confusion and being okay with that. Whereas the first 4 takes, I was really trying to dial in on a message and make it come through very clear and have it be really profound. I was trying too hard. So on this final take, I just said, I don't care if it goes crazy and I stumble and don't make sense sometimes. I trust that it'll turn out how it's supposed to turn out. It's fine. And I think we came to a decent point by the end of this video. So it's all right if you're in the dip, my friends. We all go through these dips. We all hit these waves, but let's just focus on softening, right? And I really encourage you to use these terms. I would love it if rather than I am, I believe, I know, because if you are not ready to truly feel that energy, some people would argue that it doesn't matter if you believe the affirmation, just keep saying it. There's nothing wrong with that. Fine, sure. I'm sure that works for some people. I feel like that's the hard way. So I would rather start where I am and say, I would love to believe that this is true. I would love to believe that I'm making progress. I'm not seeing it. And right now, I'm not really feeling like that's true, but I would like to believe that it's true. I would love to believe that things are always working out for me. Start there and be okay with being there for a little bit. knowing that it's absolutely possible for things to shift tomorrow. Maybe they'll shift in a month. Maybe they'll shift in a year. I don't know. We don't know. But just start where you are, my friends, and you'll get through this dip. I promise. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.